Hello and welcome to this ChunkBuild Special. It's castle building time, guys! Yay! So, if you are unaware, I have spent a great deal of time lately making modular, chunk-sized castle bits. You can see them behind me here. And today we're going to try and put them together in various ways, and I'm going to add some more to them as well. Check in the description, there are download links to all the structure blocks, so you can fiddle with them yourself. First, let's have a look at the different bits. You can find links to the different videos that I've made about each and every one of these bits in the description. We have a corner bit, we have a wall section, and we have a general purpose building. We have the castle gate. We have the castle great hall. And we have the castle church. And finally we have the castle keep. So, first of all, I thought I would show you a modular castle design where each chunk is very visible, just to give you an idea of what you can do and how you can put them together. So let's have a look. These here borders are not present in the download links in the description, so they're here just for show. But as you can see, each of the bits fit together fairly nicely here. The only thing you have to do is you have to rotate them 90 degrees when you turn a corner. So have a fiddle with that, and I'm sure you can figure out exactly how that works. There are two bits that I need to talk especially about, and that's first of all the castle gate. That needs to go forward or towards you when you place it by 3 blocks, and you can see it on the back here as well. And the second one is the great hall, where you or the feast hall. That needs to go backwards 3 blocks. And that is just so that the walls will align properly with the other bits of the castle. Now, I would say this, if I were to do this again, this here, moving it back 3 blocks, that's quite a poor idea. So be aware that when you place the great hall, you need to allocate enough space for it, because you can't put another chunk right here, for instance, because this will be in the way. So you have to basically have a chunk and 3 blocks space, which basically means you have to have 2 chunks space if you want to use just these modular bits. That's, I think, all that there is to say about this castle. We can have a little look at what it looks like, so you can see how the different bits fit together. Okay, so now we're getting to the castle builds that have no borders, and now you can see sort of what it will look like in your own world if you want to install it. This here is a very compact castle. It's actually my favorite design, I think, so far, and that is because when you enter it, which we will do now, you can see that it's really crammed and you are really surrounded by these high walls. And then there are these buildings that somebody has just somehow managed to get into the build, and I really like that. That is quite authentic. That's how a castle would have felt in the Middle Ages. And I just really like that. And yeah, as you can see, there are these little yards. Now, there would have been yards like this in castles. However, also there would have been corner buildings. And this modular design doesn't contain any such buildings yet. That is something you can add yourself if you want to, of course. Or who knows, I might return to this theme later on in the ChunkBuild series and add some more modules, basically. Finally, we're gonna have a look at how this modular design can work in an actual Minecraft world. Because what you've seen so far is all done in a super flat world. And yeah, I wanted to see how they worked in just a random world that I created. And so you have to imagine, guys, you have to imagine that it's a dark night in the forest. You are alone, you're surrounded by strange noises and strange creatures. You are wandering in the dark, and suddenly you turn around the corner and you see before your eyes lights. It's your salvation. It's your protection, if you can just make it in time. You see the castle from afar, you get closer and closer, and finally you manage to enter your safe haven. So, this is the inner courtyard of this castle. Now, this castle is fairly interesting, and it sort of addresses a few issues here that I have discovered while building these modules. First and foremost, actually, the keep is it always felt a little bit too small to me. Now, obviously, it has to be in a chunk due to the nature of the series, but it was only a little bit higher than all the other builds. And so one way to address that is to actually put it on a hill inside the castle. And I think that really works. From the outside, you can now actually see it better. And it really stands out as the tallest and most impressive building in the castle. The second thing is the landscaping. I mean, I've only done very rudimentary landscaping here, mainly around this hill and the entrance, but obviously you can still see straight lines, and a lot of straight lines, in fact, as you go around. And if you put more time into that, this will sit even better in the landscape, I guarantee it, guys. Also, you can see that my terraforming of the landscape and the breaking up of the grass, that only applies here to the chunks. You should probably extend that out a bit, and a bit organically as well, if you want to incorporate this into your own world. So those two things are really interesting to note. The third thing is that this castle is not symmetrical. As you can see from the gate, there's only a corner on the right hand side, whereas on the left hand side there's a full wall and then a corner. And that means that when you enter sort of at the right side of the castle, and you get a fairly big yard here. Now, this was the fourth thing that I discovered when building this thing, or putting it together with the help of the structures, and that is that one of the things that is needed is just a plain floor tile. And so I made one, and that is also downloadable in the description, guys. And also, obviously, this shows how you can work with just adding things yourself. You can just add this stairway up the hill into the keep, and all such things. It would be interesting, actually, to see if these different buildings were all on different elevation, how you would handle that. Presumably, you would want the wall to be at the same height at the top, so you would have to add yourself walls to the bottom of the walls where needed, basically, and likewise also let it sort of sink into the landscape in places. So I think that sort of covers it, guys. Now remember, leave a like, leave comments. Why do I have a door in my hand? Leave a like, leave comments, and share and subscribe to the video. That really helps me out a lot. I want to point out again that you can find the download links in the description to all of these structures. So you go ahead and build your own castle, your own modular castle, guys. And yeah, the final thing is we're going to have a little showcase of one of these castles before we end. But for now, I will say Bye bye!